Hey, what's happening? This is Jerry over at Wealth Dynamics. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm on my way to my apartment complex, actually, doing some off-site work and training with my team this morning. And I wanted to give you a real quick video this morning to talk about wealth creation. And the reason why is I help people create wealth. Wealth to me means an abundance and prosperity in all areas of life. Okay, it starts with purpose. It leads then to wealth, which ultimately is important because of freedom. But I want to cover today what's one of the most important, overlooked, simple, basic, fundamental requirements of wealth creation, and how do you get it going on? And it actually has nothing to do with money. Transactionally speaking, it has nothing to do with money, but I'm going to break down why I think this thing is the most important. So here we go, guys. The number one most important fundamental wealth building tool that you need to have mastered is the ability to communicate with others. See, I don't think you were thinking I was going to say that. The ability to communicate with others. Why? Because wealth can't come from you. By definition, wealth comes from knowledge. How do you get knowledge? First, you get knowledge by communicating with other receipt points, receptors, if you want to call them that have the knowledge, whether that's a book or a person or a course, and you communicate with it to get the knowledge so that you can actually know what money is. Okay, then you've got to be able to make money. You've got the knowledge, now you got to be able to make money, increase your income. Well, you can't increase your income by buying stuff from yourself or for yourself. You need to be able to communicate with others. If you can't communicate with others, you're not going to be able to increase your income. Okay, then it goes into keeping the money you're making. If you're trying to keep the money you're making, but you didn't communicate with others first, you didn't get any money, there was nothing to keep, which means you've got nothing to multiply. Wealth rests on your ability to communicate with others. If you can communicate with others, you can build wealth. Now, if you can't communicate with others, you're going to have a hard time building wealth. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it just through technology. Even if you're using technology as a medium to communicate with others, to establish a relationship, to get some kind of transaction that will lead closer to wealth. That's the bottom line, guys. So if you're looking at, man, how do I build wealth? I'm struggling right now. Your ability to communicate is going to be the thing that dictates how far you're going to get. And communication doesn't just mean, can you talk? Do you know words? Communication means that you have the intention to get your message across to somebody else. You can actually get it to travel the distance and hit them to where they get it. They see what you see. They understand what you're saying. And they acknowledge it too, meaning that they heard you. They acknowledge, I got that. That makes sense. I'm on the same page. And then they communicate back. Now, everything I just described, tricky me, is sales. If you don't know how to sell, wealth won't happen. You're not going to get wealthy by knowing more about investments. You've got to have money to invest in the first place. The way you get that money is you sell. Selling is communication. Those that don't like selling are those who do not have a good time communicating. They're bad at it. They lose when they communicate. They struggle with it. Therefore, they're not good at it. Therefore, they don't like it. So they say it's wrong and they don't want to do it, and they're not a salesperson and they're not interested in sales, all because the individual can't communicate. And the reason I want to share this today is communication is something that for example, I work on with my clients. We have a platform called Wealth Dynamics University. And so when I've got clients that come on board with us, one of the first things I do is I have them start training on Wealth Dynamics University. It teaches them how to communicate. It teaches them how to sell. It teaches them how to build connections. It teaches them how to network. Now you might be like, oh, I don't need all that. I'm already really good at it. Yeah, but here's the question. How far are you trying to get? Already good is code for I've settled. Already good means I don't see the need to continually improve. Already good means I don't plan on going any further. That's the only reason someone would be already good. So you need to increase your ability to communicate in ratio to the degree of wealth you desire. If you want more wealth, you need to be even better at communicating, which means that you need to be focused even more on how do I become better at sales even if I'm already good? How do I become better at communicating even if I'm already good? Because here's the reality, guys. I'm the guy in my business, I'm the guy that works with the people after they bought the turnkey rental property that didn't work out. After they put their money in the 401k and it didn't grow like they were told it would. After they tried wholesaling and they didn't know how to sell, so they couldn't get it done. After they bought the FHA fourplex just to find out that they were going to pay money every month to be a landlord. I'm the guy that has to clean that mess up. And so I'm telling you, your ability to sell will lead to you being able to accumulate more money to make better decisions and not be stuck in those spots. To not be stuck in a negative position financially because you can communicate and amass enough cash to have options and not act out of scarcity, but instead act out of purpose and opportunity. All stems from the ability to communicate. So here's a couple tips on communicating. I want to show you guys a simple system on how to communicate. You got to know what you're trying to say. Okay, and not even what you're trying to say, but why you're trying to say it. So I shouldn't just be talking to talk. I should be talking because I have a purpose. I'm trying to accomplish something. I'm trying to get a message across for a specific reason. That's why you would communicate. Okay, now you have to have the desire to do that, and then you have to be able to send that desire to somebody else in a way that they will understand, in a way that they will like it, they'll agree with it, they'll want to hear it, they'll be on your side. See, this is why most people don't like sales. They weren't taught to sell like this. They were taught when you sell, you don't want the customer to know the idea. Because if they know the idea, they might not buy, so you keep it a secret. And you've been told when you sell, you shouldn't clearly communicate your purpose. Because if they knew your purpose, they might not buy, so you got to keep that a secret too. So essentially, you're suppressing the real idea. You're lying about why you're communicating. You're trying to trick somebody into doing something, and that's why people don't like sales. That's not communication, guys. Communication, have a clear idea of what you're trying to say, why you're trying to say it, get the intention across to them, actually get it to them. One of the number one mistakes in communication is you don't follow through. Okay, I played basketball growing up. You got to follow through every time you take a shot. You communicate and you're like, well, I said something and they didn't respond, or they didn't do what I told them to or asked them to, so that's their fault and they're stupid and they don't listen. No, the reality is if that's happening, it means you're a bad communicator. It means your communication skills lack. Otherwise, the message would get through to whoever you're trying to get the message over to. It would get all the way across to them. That's your responsibility. That means that if they didn't react the first time, you might have to say it again. You might have to say it again and maybe tailor it a different kind of way. Okay, once they've actually received it, they should acknowledge it. They should be like, hey, I got that. That makes sense. I agree. I disagree. Give you some kind of acknowledgement. So if you're not getting a response out of somebody, you're not communicating. Again, we've been taught that it's their fault. They don't respond. Oh, they're rude. No, you're a bad communicator. When you talk to somebody and they don't feel the need to respond to you, that means you are bad at communicating. You got to improve that. Okay, and then once they respond, they shouldn't just respond just to get you to stop. They should respond with their own idea. They should be interested in the conversation, and that's proof that you have true communication with somebody. So to give you a practical example, I send emails almost every single day. I do direct email campaigns, and I get a lot of people that don't say anything, so I'm not in communication with them. I get some people that say unsubscribe, so I've got their attention, they duplicated it, and they don't like it, they want me to stop, but I'm not in communication with them either because they're not giving me their own creative response back where they're interested in the conversation. And then lastly, I've got some people that are like, hey, I'm interested in that, but maybe they have an objection or a concern. That's actually an individual that's in communication with me. So I wanted to share this with you this morning because communication is a skill that's required to build wealth, and people spend more of their time learning about the mechanics of wealth without learning about how do I communicate with others first. Okay, you don't need to know everything about real estate if you can't communicate with another human being. You don't need to know about taxes if you can't get money in the first place. Okay, we have a group called the Maverick Group, and we've been talking about taxes the last couple of weeks. The reality is if you do not have net profits, none of that stuff matters. And that means that if you can't communicate with your clients, if you can't communicate with your staff, if you can't communicate with your public, like those are all lines that if you can't communicate with and amass revenue, like taxes aren't even an issue for you. You don't need to worry about that. There will be nothing there to tax. So guys, I hope that this video helps. I hope that this gives you some insight. If you would like to learn more, I want you to reach out to me. Hit me up here on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also email me at jerry@wealthdynamics.com. That's WEALTHDYNAM, the letter X, dynamics.com. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great day. I'll talk to y'all soon.